Welcome everyone to Together Tuesday. My name's Kevin Vogel. Today I happen to have with me Melissa Mintz. Hi, Melissa.
Hey, Kevin.
And Abby Madden. Hi, Abby.
Hey, Kevin.
And today we're going to be covering a few new things, one from Microsoft and one from MessageOps. And let me just flip the slides here. So I have a couple new things, new collaboration tools that Microsoft is actually going to be offering next year. And next year really isn't that far off. I mean, we're now on the 14th. So we have just 3 weeks to go before we're in 2022. Oh my God, did that go fast? So we're going to be talking a little bit about Loop. We talked a little bit about it last week. We're going to finish up on that. And then we're going to be talking about their new product Mesh. And then Melissa's going to be covering the new Inkscape Assign and Account Info panel that's inside of Inkscape. I think you'll get a lot out of that. There's some new features, some new functionality that you guys can take advantage of. So let's get started. So let's talk a little bit about Loop. And Loop is a new application. Like I said, it's coming out 2022. They're saying January, so I'm hoping that they're accurate. And it's really going to give you a whole bunch of functionality in the Office suite. So it's going to add like flexible canvases that you can move across the different applications. You'll be things like Teams is going to be able to take advantage of it. Dynamics is another area that they're going to really build into this. And it really consists of 3 different pieces: Loop components, Loop pages, and Loop workspaces. So we'll break that down for you so you understand the differences between all of them. And this, from what I see out there, there's not going to be a price to this. Obviously that can change, but this is what I'm seeing as of today. So what it is, it's really, how can I put this? The best way to put it, it helps get your things done one time instead of having to maybe input the same information into multiple places inside of Office 365. So with Loop, you'll be able to take information that you plug into chat or emails or meetings and basically take that information and put it in one cohesive place so that you can have that information for all these different applications. And if you're a Dynamics user, this is even more pertinent, because as you actually plug in information, for instance, about vendors or clients into Microsoft Dynamics, that information can sync up now with many other places inside of Office 365. So it allows you to basically loop in all of that information across, let's say, SQL, let's say if you have tasks and things like that built into Teams or into Planner or any of those, applications. You don't have to actually enter that information in there more than once. So as you can see just from this, if you built, for instance, a voting table inside of Teams and had people vote on inside of a form that you create inside of a team, it will take that information, actually push it to wherever you want. If you want it to go into a SQL database, to take all the information and put it into a more usable format, you can do that. So it really does help you take information and move it around into different areas. You can even go in and look at who's voting and tracking what's going on inside your different applications. So if you have, for instance, a project that you're doing where you need to have people input information about where they stand inside of a project, you can have it in a real easy format, for instance, in tasks, which might push it into project. So all those type of things are going to be available with Loop. So these components will actually help you take information that you already have also. So for instance, if you have information inside of Dynamics or inside of a database, you could see by just putting in a little bit of information in a chat here, I can get that information and plug it right in from, this happens to be from Dynamics, but you do at Alpine, it will show you all the accounts where Alpine is what you're looking for, and it will take that information, plug it right into a chat, and really give your people better access to information without having to search for it. In fact, most people spend about 70% of their day looking for information. So Loop is really one of those things that will help you reduce that time and make you more more productive. When we're talking about pages, pages can be designed to be a flexible canvas that takes those components and pulls information from everywhere inside of Office 365, whether it be files or links or even, things out of Teams and all different types of places. You'll see that you can configure this to pull from a bunch of different areas. So Loop Pages can be designed to take that information and make it really a lot more intuitive about how you get information from all of these things out there. For those of you that don't use things like Delve, for instance, Delve is a platform inside of Office 365 that actually looks at the latest documents that you've shared or the latest documents that you've worked on, or things where you've had meetings, like let's say Melissa and I had a meeting together, it would show the documents that we were working on. Well, this is just the next step inside of Office 365 with Loop to take all that information that maybe Delve has been grabbing and now put it in a better format so that everyone can use that information. In Workspaces, Workspaces are almost like Teams inside of Teams. You can use this information to really synchronize all of the information that you have across a bunch of different areas about, for instance, a certain project. So if I have a project in here where I'm creating documents, I'm creating appointments in calendars, I'm creating tasks inside of project or planner, one of these workspaces can take all of those disparate applications, move it into one place so that when your team is looking for the latest information about a project or about something you're doing maybe in marketing or something you're doing in the sales department, you can do all of these things and grab this information. It really does help save time because you know where to go. For instance, if you're working on project XYZ, to get everything about that project, you don't have to search in Teams and then look over in OneDrive and then look over maybe in Dynamics. All of that information will be held in one spot if you create that workspace for it. So really pretty cool tool. I can't wait to get our hands on it and start using it inside of Sirius here. So, and CDW. So, it's really going to be something that we're going to be trying to take advantage of. I hope you guys do too. So Mesh is that other application that I was talking about that really enables people to connect with presence. In other words, where they really feel like you're there. So to share across any type of space, you can collaborate from anywhere in the world, and Mesh really enables that almost, I hate to say it, but VI or that virtual interface that a lot of people have been looking for. And HoloLens, believe it or not, is one of the applications that you can use with Mesh if you wanted to, where you can both be working on, for instance, a physical design and do it in 3D. It's really a pretty cool feature. I've only seen videos of it. I know that this is another area that Microsoft is really going to be pushing, ever since COVID and us working in, working from home or not going into the office. Sometimes it's really hard to do a lot of things that you did when you were sitting in the same room. Well, Mesh is supposed to really help you feel like you're actually collaborating inside the same space, but not being there. So as you could see, for instance, you can do anything around virtual collaboration or spatial awareness so that you know how things are actually fitting together inside of 3D models. And like I said, HoloLens is going to be a big part of what Microsoft is doing this. You can even take that to another level when you're talking about help desk and helping people get the help that they need for the projects that they're doing. So Mesh is really going to help get those remote experts inside of your environment and help you really take that next step in collaboration. And I will tell you, I think that for training and to learn, I think you're going to see our universities, our higher education, really take advantage of Mesh when it comes to especially like engineering and things where you really have to have that tactile feel of what's going on inside of your projects. So I think that you're going to see a lot more of this inside of our higher ed and things like that. And then to host virtual meetups where you're doing with a doctor, for instance, this is going to be huge for telemedicine, where people, right now it's great on the screen and you have the cameras, but having that 3D, having, the ability to actually feel like you're one-on-one with your doctor when you're not leaving your house is really going to be, I think, a game changer for medicine. I think you'll see that coming up here in the next year with Mesh. So all of these things are what Microsoft's trying to bring to the table. We saw all these things in Inspire. And if you haven't gone to microsoftinspire.com, where a lot of this information, more in-depth information is available to you. You can go in there. I think they had like 240 different sessions that you could take. And a lot of them had to do with things that are coming here in 2022. So hopefully that gives you at least a little feel for the new things that Microsoft's going to be releasing. As you probably know, starting in March, anyone that has an Office 365 license or a Microsoft 365 license will now get audio conferencing. Audio conferencing allows you to have people call in, or you even to call out of a Teams meeting and have people join the audio portion over the phone. Right now, believe it or not, there is a trial that you could start right away, and then the freebie will hit in March and it will just be continuous. So for those of you that haven't taken advantage of it, it's out there. You could take advantage of it right now. I think Melissa showed you not too long ago how to get trial licenses right out of Inkscape. So with that, I am going to turn it over here to Melissa and let her take over the screen. And we'll take it from there. Melissa,
Thank you, Kevin. Actually, we have 2 questions in. One from Caleb. Do you know what M365 SKUs include Mesh?
I believe both M365 SKUs, the E3 and the E5, will include Mesh. They really haven't announced it yet, but if you watch the session that they're talking that they did in Inspire, those are the 2 that they talked about during the session. I don't know if it's going to be available as an add-on to other ones, but we'll see what they say. Right now, they haven't announced it. I'd love to give you a for sure answer, but based around the content in Inspire, it looked like E3 and E5.
Thank you, Kevin. And the second question that came in from Rob is, so we don't need the audio conferencing license in March?
You don't. Absolutely, that's true. That's been announced, but you can actually get it right now, Rob. There is a free trial where you can go in and sign up for a 90-day free trial. If you take 90 days from now, it's March and you're ready to go. So yeah, it's absolutely free in March. But like I said, they have a free trial right now that you can take advantage of.
Great questions. Thank you. And I'm going to take over screen sharing now. All right, so hopefully everybody can see my screen.
I can, so I'm sure
Excellent.
they can.
Excellent. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out that we just also renamed the assign license. So now the assign license tile is now Microsoft license assignment. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that this is where you can now go and assign your licenses through the Enscape portal. And once I click on this, another thing I wanted to point out is that we removed create users as per best security practices. Per that, because creation of users should be done in your client's Azure Active Directory. And we have provided a link to the Microsoft site with more documentation on how to add or remove users from their Azure Active Directory. So I wanted to point it out. That was one thing that we've taken away, or one functionality we've taken away from this, but this was based on best practices. So once you're in your organization's Microsoft license assignment tile, this license availability chart is really great to leverage. Why? Because this will help you save dollars and cents on licenses, so you're not procuring more than you need to, or running into the issue of having duplicate subscriptions in your tenant. So here clearly you'll see in blue licenses that are available to be assigned. In black, that's telling you that they're already assigned. And then Kevin and Abby, if there are anything in red, that's telling you that we need to go into the shop and procure additional licenses for that. Also within this page, and this is really important for people that are looking to do internal audits of what licenses they have, comparing, who has a Microsoft 365 Business Premium versus who has a standard license, is the export buttons here. So the export, this page button will export all of your users in your Active Directory with their locations and what licenses they have. And then the export all pages will export everything. So you can do a compare and contrast and see who has what licenses, who needs to be bumped up to a higher SKU, or who perhaps doesn't need all the bells and whistles. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that, how they can go about doing this, should they want to internally review their licenses or review them with us at some point. So that's by the
Do you know what format that comes in, Melissa? Is that a CSV file or is that a PDF or?
This is exported as a CSV file. Yep.
Good, so they can have it in an Excel spreadsheet and do whatever they wanted with it.
Absolutely, they could format it as they see fit once they export it, correct. Now, you can still currently come in here and assign your licenses, and to do so is just clicking on the Manage Licenses. So if I click on Manage Licenses here, this will expose all of the available licenses within your tenant. So it will give you a numeric value if there's a license available to be assigned. It will tell you if it's assigned or not assigned. And then the View Service Plans allows you as the admins to determine what add-ons get rolled out before you actually click to assign the license to somebody. Because again, you may not want everybody to have every single bell and whistle for all of the SKUs. So if I want to go and assign Carlos, as an example, the Azure Active Directory Premium 2, if I select that, you'll see that will go down to 0. And if I want to control what add-ons he gets with that, I can click View Service Plans in blue, and that will show me all of the add-ons for that particular licensure. And with the check or uncheck of a button, I can control what he gets before I click Save and have that assigned. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that? Okay, great. Now, the other thing I wanted to show to everybody here within the Enscape platform is the account info tile. So for those of you that are new or may not have jumped in here, the account info tile is a really great tile for yourselves and anybody in the financial side of the house to leverage, because you can come in here and see your total cost by service, whether it's for AWS, Office 365 training, Office 365, so you can see that graphically here. You can take a look and spot any sort of spending trends in your cost month to month, as well as be able to grab details and be able to export all of these details in CSV format and then be able to format that however you see fit. So here you can click export to CSV, and I could download all of that and see what I'm spending for Office 365, adoption, training, AWS, if it's applicable, Enscape, so on and so forth. Now, up at the top, you may notice also there are some tabs. The Microsoft tab will very succinctly show you all of your costs by subscription, your total cost month to month. And for those of you that are looking for more details than are able to be included in your invoices, this is where you can come and retrieve that without you having to call into AR and reach out for that. So if you scroll down the page here, you can see the invoice date, the invoice number, you'll be able to see things like the total quantity. So if you're very interested in that, that's because of proration. Currently, you're not able to get that on the invoices, but you can grab that from here. Cost, subscription ID, subscription name, offer ID, so on and so forth. And again, all of this, you could click export and you could determine what year you want to export, what month you want to export, and then you could, take a look at that and get the granular details within your invoice without having to wait or rely on having to call in for that. As far as Azure is concerned, so if any of our Azure users out there, you'll be able to see your costs by product for Azure. I don't have the appropriate Azure licensure, but you get the gist. So you'd be able to see cost by product, whether it's an Azure virtual machine, Azure blob storage, you'll be able to graphically see that, and also see your cost month to month for Azure and be able to see if there's any spikes, and then circle back with us and see how we can kind of rein in those costs and really leverage the Azure cost management features in here, and also be able to download your Azure invoice details or your Azure reservation details as well. Same philosophy too for the software. So if you've procured any additional software in here, you'll be able to keep track of that and really manage the cost for any additional software that you've procured or anything that you may have purchased in the marketplace. Any questions, Kevin, from you or for anybody out there?
No, this is really good. I like the export feature, especially in CSV. That way you can actually maybe even start charging people back for the resources they're using.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get a lot of questions on that. So I really wanted to point out where and how they can do that should they really want to take a granular look into their spend. And last but not least, we've just integrated with AWS for those that are in a multi-cloud situation. Now they'll be able to come into Inkscape, and if they're again using AWS, be able to see their AWS cost by account. They'll be able to track the cost month to month. And then, of course, here they can extrapolate or download all of this as a CSV and see their AWS cost by account, by service, by cost, and really see how they can rein in and help with their management of costs in and around their AWS environment as well. So that's really cool. On the left-hand side here, PDF invoice history. So if people don't want to have to go searching through emails to retrieve their invoices, PDF invoice history will allow them to go and download it. So they can click PDF invoice history, click download PDF, and that will allow you to download in PDF format your latest and greatest invoice from CDW. Your billing information tab here. So I know you fill this out when you initially onboard to Inkscape, but should you need to update your billing information, this is where you can update your billing name or your address should your office location change, or if you need to change the main contact for billing purposes, you can do that. And if you need more than one person or even a shared accounts email to receive the invoices, here's where you can add up to 5 additional email addresses to receive the emailed invoices just by clicking this little plus sign, you typing in. This will populate or pull from your Azure Active Directory, hit save, and then whomever you have listed here would then be emailed the invoices from CDW. So for the purposes of today's demo, those are some of the things I wanted to make sure people were aware of. And if anybody has any additional questions after the call, definitely don't be shy. And myself or Abby will be glad to answer those.
Well, thank you, Melissa. That's really good. I know that we keep adding more and more to Inkscape as we go. I love the AWS add-on now with, most companies now looking at multi-cloud environments. And I'm sure we're going to take that even further as time goes on. And even, that there was a rumor that we were going to add other software vendors besides Microsoft into Inkscape. So, these are things that I think we should look forward to in 2022.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're constantly adding, based on client feedback and, everything like that. So definitely.
All right. Well, I just wanted to let everyone know this is our last Together Tuesday for 2021, and it's really been a pleasure. I know Melissa and I have been here, the whole year, and now Abby with a great team member. I think you'll hear a lot from Abby next year. She's going to be very, very involved in the Together Tuesday sessions for 2022. But we're going to have some really good topics, but I do please, if you want us to cover something, if there's something that you've been reading about from Microsoft, maybe you don't understand, or, things that you just want to know more about, please hit us up here in the chat for your Together Tuesdays. Obviously, the chat session stays open. You can reach out to Melissa, to Abby, to myself. We're right now putting together the topics for January, and there will be 4 of them. Starting, in the first week of January, we'll be doing our Together Tuesdays. So, next year, I think you're going to see Microsoft with a lot of new things, and we'll try to keep you guys right up to, snuff. I mean, our job, believe it or not, all day long is just to concentrate on Microsoft. I know you guys have jobs that make you a little bit more diversified than we are. You got to be able to do a bunch of different things. We're lucky we can focus in on, just the things from Microsoft. So we'll try to keep you up to speed here. But if there is something that you want us to cover, let us know. We'll put it on the agenda. With that, I do want to wish everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't know if I'm going to be talking to most of you, but please have a great holiday season. Stay safe. I hope you get to see all of your family this year. Melissa, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all for your attendance and for contributing your topics, and happy holidays to everybody. And again, to dovetail onto what Kevin said, if there are topics you want to see for January, please let us know, and we will be happy to include those for the January topics. But happy holidays, and thank you all again.
And Abby, you wanna speak up here?
Yeah, I just want to add on to Melissa. Happy holidays, you guys. Stay safe and have a great new year.
All right, everyone, have a good one.
Bye, everybody.